Reginald Lewis Museum in Baltimore, Maryland, family. Came down here today. It's the outside of it. Peace and Black Power, family. I'm at the Reginald Lewis Museum in Baltimore, which isn't too far from me. I'm excited about it. I'm going to take y'all along on a tour with me and show y'all what it's about, the attractions that they have in here, the things to see. Beneficial that we tap into our Black history and culture. And this is the African American Museum down here in Baltimore, Maryland, the Reginald Lewis Museum. And if you don't know who Reginald Lewis was, I have content up on my YouTube channel. It's older content, so you have to go back and look through it. And it basically tells you about him. In the 80s, he was one of the most richest Black African Americans in the United States. So I'm going to take you guys along on a tour with me and show you guys what it's about. I think it's beneficial that we learn our history and know our history. It's important for us to teach this to our kids, and it says the color of skin in no way is connected to the strength of our mind or intellectual powers. And this is a shell, I guess, a turtle shell instrument used to play music. There's our people back in, I believe, the 1900s. African American history is extremely important. They designed a lot of stuff that the world uses and don't get too much credit for it. There goes some of our youth in the classroom back in the days. I'm like a kid in a candy store here, family. I'm excited. I love learning, especially about Black history and our culture. That says, building Maryland, building America. Things don't fall apart, things hold. Lines connect in ways that last, and lives become generations made out of pictures and words just kept. This looks like some African artwork right here, family. Royal Benin figure had its beginnings in the late 14th century in the region of South Nigeria. The lost wax method of casting metal in Africa dates back several centuries. I guess this artwork comes from Nigeria. Interesting. Sharing power, sharpening policy. I am the first African American ever elected statewide office in the greatest state of Maryland. I am proof that blessings of liberty are within reach of every American. I don't know who this brother is right here. James Mitchell, 1981. Okay, this is James Mitchell. After the Civil War, with slavery ended, African Americans eagerly sought political empowerment. Generally, they supported the Republican Party, the party that most actively courted their votes. That's why I say Black people got to get off that Democratic Party and even get off the Republican Party. The things serve us. This is nice in here, though. Guess this is about civil rights right here. I won't film this too long because I don't own the rights to this. Looks like the Black Panther Party right here. Members of the Black Panther Party, Maryland. Okay. Didn't even know they had a Black Panther Party, Maryland. Warren Hart, Isaac Clayton, and Charles Smith. Okay. This looks like some old vintage cameras, typewriter from earlier on. The Black barbershop, we all know that's pivotal in Black culture, African American culture, the barbershop. Haircuts only $5. Can you imagine that, family? Haircuts is what? $25, $30 now? Back in the day, there was only $5. Look at the brother right there cutting the young brother. Freedom is core of democracy. Guess the brothers was protesting. Old can of Duke hair grease, if y'all can see that. Pomade. I never seen that can. That's old. An old brush for dusting your hair off at the barbershop. Maryland Civil Rights Movement. In April 1942, Maryland African Americans staged a march on Annapolis demonstration to bring attention to much needed reforms. More than 2,000 people participated. Okay. Some more brothers and sisters. This looked like an old bar pool room with brothers from the Army. The Y on Druid Hill, the YMCA, or Young Men's Christian Organization, came to Baltimore in 1852. The first branch of African Americans was organized by the clergy and civil rights activists in 1885. Ooh, okay. Here go some more things. Society of Union Brothers and Sisters. Sword, things like that. Oh, I guess this is the Masons. Freemasonry is an ancient secret society. Members support one another and charitable causes around the world. Among African Americans, Freemason began in 1775. There go some soldiers. 2 African Americans, the outbreak of the Civil War was a call to freedom. Some brothers right there, I guess, that fought in the war. I don't know what this is. The Southern Underground. Thomas Smallwood labored as a slave in Prince George County until good fortune created an opportunity for him to purchase his freedom and that of his wife and children. Once freed, Smallwood relocated to nearby Washington, D.C. and committed himself to helping blacks flee slavery. Okay, salute to my brother. Rest in power. William Still. Guess the brother's name is William Still. Let your motto be resistance, resistance, resistance. Oppressed people have every secured their liberty without resistance. Resistance. You got to give resistance to that opposition, family. Like some of the family during slavery times, girl getting her hair braided, a young sister. This is black farmers right here. By 1900, Maryland was second among the states of the nation in the value of its canned fruits and vegetables. For decades before and after, black farmers, mainly on the eastern shore, earned a living and provided for their families from the sandy soil. Okay, this black farmers right here, family. Here go tobacco. Hanging up there, you see it, family? Tobacco as a staple is our all, and indeed leaves no room for anything else. Englishmen had grown tobacco in the Chesapeake region. Landowners employed servant laborers to do the work. After mid-century, however, enslaved Africans became the dominant workforce. Okay, so a lot of our people were doing this slave labor with the tobacco. I didn't know that. Sports professional. The salary of many black athletes steadily climbed from the 1970s on. African Americans began to find broader opportunities in sports. Baseball. Frank Robertson became the Baltimore Orioles' first African American manager and earned Manager of the Year honors in 1989. Okay. Healing industry. A number of African Americans in medicine began to climb slowly in the late 1900s. Baltimore provided hospitals opened in 1894, promising not only employment and care, but training at nursing schools. Peace, family. This is exciting. I'm getting ready to get out of here, though. Remember, know your history and culture. Teach it to your kids. Slave shackles, family. Slave tags. Slave tags were tickets issued to slaves by their owners, listing the date and occupation of the slave. The city of Charleston, South Carolina maintained records of slaves. In this way, they levied an annual tax each slave rented out by their owner within the city. Crazy. Here goes segregated stuff when it was segregated, whites and colored. Here goes an old door. You see what it says. Benjamin Banneker was one of the sons of Africa, Ghanaian and a free African American woman of mixed ancestry. He was born free in 1731 on a 100-acre farm in Baltimore County. The African American traditions contemplated an intervention as well. His era, faith in reason and scientific inquiry. At age 22, with only a borrowed pocket watch, for example, he built a wooden clock that kept accurate time for 50 years. In his late 50s, he taught himself astronomy. He was the first African American man of science. Wow. And the first of many African intellectuals to defend his people against intellectual racism. Benjamin Banneker. Go old violin. Sister Breonna Taylor, rest in power. Queen Mother Harriet Tubman. By any means, a black and white photo. The New Bethlehem Baptist Church. Maryland's Black Main Street.